What's going on, everybody? Nehemiah here. We're going to be taking a look at defensive stats today. Of course, I put in the formula for the displayed HP. I called myself this time Dr. LS Nehemiah for Landslide, of course. He's one of the premier defensive heroes in the game, and so this is just the list of these. I'm going to go through most of these. I'm not going to be able to touch on the crit resist too much, but we can look at the other ones in a lot of detail. So first, the HP percentage stat boost. This is where you're going to get pretty much the most bang for your buck in terms of boosting the hit points of your hero. Now, of course, one of the best ways to do it, just like the attack stat, is through your hero aid level. Of course, a great hero aid, if you're really looking to boost the hit points, would be Savage Chief. So this one, for example, will give 147% hit point modifier. Then you have Enchanting, Evolution, etc. You have a talent as well. So that's pretty much it for the HP percentage stat boost. Now, of course, you also have the flat hit point boost. There are different ways to go about it. I'm not sure if anyone actually knows what a max level Air Elite actually gives. I'm not sure about that. Of course, you have Hero Glory, Enchanting, the first level Enchanting. All the heroes get the same for that. And then the weapons, that can be pretty huge. I mean, that heart right there gives 90,000 extra hit points. Then, of course, you get some for Evolution. And then the talent, which is probably one of the worst talents that currently exists. I think it could be reworked a little bit. But let's look at a calculation. So here is a Renee Ven. Now, I decided to make things a little bit more difficult because in the previous video, I had a hero who was unevolved, with no enchanting and no glory. But now, let's say you want to go ahead and work backwards and see what the base hit points is. So let's take this Renee Ven. She's a full glory, which gives 7,000 extra hit points for her. Of course, it can go up to, I think, 16,000 for some of the newer heroes. And then she is past the Virgo evolution. So in total, she gets 50% extra HP from that, plus 22,000 extra from the glory and the Virgo. So you can go ahead and put it in the formula, and you can solve for what her base HP is at level 170, and it's 38,800. Now let's go ahead and stick a couple things on her. Let's stick on 3 aids and my best weapon I currently have on this account, which is a +3 purple heart. That gives an extra 35,000 or so. I didn't display it up here, but then if you look at the hero aids and you count up the percentage you get, it goes up to 206%. So essentially, you can plug in that base value we just calculated into the new formula with the new percentages, and you get exactly the result that is displayed in the picture, 196,112. So essentially, that's how you're going to go ahead and calculate the hero HP. Let's move on to the next stat, damage reduction. This one is pretty huge. According to IGG Live supports and tests, you cannot get 100% damage reduction. I've tried, but 92% seems to be the cap. So aids can be super huge. Of course, you have your Arctic Lord aid, probably one of the best, at least in the beginning, and you can get multiple uses if you have a reviving hero like Great Sage or in Hero Trials. Then you also have enchanting, equipment, talents. It's a huge talent. And then, of course, I listed a bunch of temporary boosts. But here, let's go ahead and take a look at this aid in action. So here I am in Arena versus BBM. His Enchantress has a max level Arcane Lord 8, not Arcane Lord, Arctic Lord 8, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and take out his Great Sage and then watch my team beating on his Enchantress, basically doing nothing to her the whole time, and then her aid will finally wear off, or I think I might even kill the altar first, but there you have it. That's a pretty sweet stat, if you will, to really stack up. It's very, very effective. Now, dodge is also very, very interesting. Some of you who may have been over to my channel, you may have seen my Landslide in action. Apparently, he's very difficult to hit unless you have high-level equipment. So here's some of the stats you can use to boost him, of course. You can have equipment, enchanting, aids. Basically, he has 3x nibble moves on him, and you get a temporary increase. So let's take a look at this Landslide in action. So I'm speeding this section up real quick. Just pay attention to the blue misses over his head. Essentially, he's taking this whole base. 5 heroes attacking him constantly. I actually threw some allied winds down, but there you have it. I mean, Landslide and dodge, that's a great way to go ahead and build a hero. So the next stat we want to take a look at is the damage reflect stat. This one is sometimes overlooked a bit more, but it can be huge in taking care of enemy heroes, especially when dealing with very, very high attack enemies and opponents. So Chiron and the Toxic Shaman are going to be some of the best for that. And here in action is a guildmate of mine. I went ahead and asked him to go ahead and put both of those aids up on his Ambrosia. So go ahead and check this out. Boom. My landslide gets hit, and his health instantly drops because all of that damage was getting reflected to him. So he basically received about 200,000 damage, if not more, back at him already. So that's going to be pretty huge. And the last stat I'm actually going to focus on there more, of course, is the Berserker Aide. This is how people score huge in the guild boss. And let's go ahead and take a look at a Berserker Aide in action. So here's another guildmate of mine. See 10,000 power, pretty sweet. Go ahead and take a look at his Ambrosia, though. So go ahead and follow along. Check this out. Boom. Nothing. Nothing happened to her at all with that Berserker Aide. That is huge. And so that is a great aid to stick on your Ambrosia. Now, finally, in case you still don't believe me, defensive stats are huge and they really, really matter. Go ahead and take a look at this poor base that I found here. So here is my Wonton. I'm going to go ahead and unleash him in the center of this base here. Go ahead and check this out. Boom, boom. Enchantress completely gone. Wonton all the way down to the Pangoli Aide. And so there you have it. This is just a brief overview of defensive stats. I know I mentioned crit resist and some of the debuffs. You have to stay tuned for a future video because there's some pretty sweet debuffs that IGG has put into the game. So good luck to you and hope you learned something.